Young people are very energetic, vibrant, explosive, and very experimental. Their sense of fashion enhances their style, and that's where the problem lies. Some people fail to understand them, and the young people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. How much do you know about the young people? That's where the rubber meets the road. It's time for us to listen to them, talk to them, and in so doing, we shall understand their narrative.
My name is Josephine Kenya. I work at Muji Care Limited as a youth program coordinator for psychosocial activities. And this involves creating meaningful lives for children, adolescents, and young people to live lives and not being defined by their HIV status. Definitely, COVID-19 has affected our work in different ways. And when you talk of psychosocial support, usually one-on-one interaction makes more sense. But during total lockdown, or even right now when it is being phased out, we have reduced the number of physical interaction. And when that is reduced, definitely you're not doing one-on-one peer support. Definitely you're not doing intensive adherence counseling to adolescents that have high viral load. Definitely you're not doing home visits, and definitely you're not doing the group psychosocial meetings that used to happen. So all that has been put on a standstill. Even when there is that kind of virtual connection that is coming up, it does not still yield as much as the physical interruption. So we have cases of adolescents leaving medication. We have cases of adolescents who are supposed to be home visited. They have not been home visited, and definitely you're not sure that they have enough medication to take them through. So all that has been cut, and it's because of COVID-19. So I would say the greatest fears of young people living with HIV vary. You find that a young person who is around an adolescent like 10, 11, 12, their fears are different. You know, their fears are mainly about disclosure. They've been disclosed to, and they're dealing with acceptance of HIV status. Then you find a young person at the age of 15, 16, 17, 18, they're getting into relationships. And definitely there are two issues around that: disclosing to the person you love and being accepted, you know. And then you find a young person of 19, 20, 21, 22, relationships. Those are the biggest challenges ever. You find that people are they're disclosing the HIV status. At first they're being accepted, but then along the way the relationships have to end due to the third party getting in, or due to other challenges that come up with the fact that this person is HIV positive. So those challenges vary according to age. As a person grows, of course, HIV brings in different challenges, and they come in according to the age at which the person is. Definitely, as a peer supporter or as a person supporting other adolescents and young people, that there is a number of people that you always have behind you. For example, I could be having, you know, like 50 people to support, and in the 50, I know how each one of them is doing. I know that among my 50 people, probably 10 of them are unsuppressed. Unsuppressed means that they have a high viral load, and high viral load means that the number of HIV virus in their blood per milliliters is very high. So you find that even after when we had a total lockdown, you're still home, but you have contacts of your young people. So you still connect with them, find out how they are doing, find out if they have enough medication, take them through. And some of them that didn't have medication, we worked out ways on how to deliver the medication to them. Definitely, young people are energetic. And if you want anything good from them, you have to accept them the way you are. I'm not so old, I'm still a young person, so I'm still also energetic. So one thing, you have to understand them. That is very important. After understanding them, you have to know what their interests are. After knowing what their interests are, you have now to get into their interest, so that you work out a plan which will favor them and favor you too. For example, if I find a young person who is interested into music, dance and drama, you know, can I get into that and then still give them the information that I want them to receive through music, dance and drama? Because if I find a person who is interested in music and then I'm giving them a book to read, definitely they will not read the book. But if I went through music, I will connect with them. So when you find young people that are energetic, it is interesting, and it is very important for you to first find out what their interest is, you know, what, you know, gets them like moving and all that. Because when you get to know that, you then use that very channel to reach out to them with the information that you have. My experience of living with HIV is quite different from the rest, and I don't want to brag, but I want to thank God for it, because I'm 27 years old and I was born with the virus. So I've lived with HIV for all the 27 years. I was disclosed to when I was around 11 years, but I got to know my status before that. So I got to know my status around 10, but then my mother told me at around 11 years. So accepting my status was not something hard. From day one, I accepted my status, and I thank God for it, because I never got resistant. I did not ask my mother so many questions. I just accepted it the way it came to me, and I had to look out for ways to live positively. And I think I had a very supportive family. My mother, my father, they're already supporting, so I did not think of all the other negative things, that you think about when you've just been told that you're HIV positive. Well, ever since I learned about my HIV status, I've been passionate about helping other young people through my story. I shared my story in 2005 before the US Congress, and I was asked what I wanted to see at that particular moment. And I remember I was receiving a lot of love and psychosocial support from the Egg Puff Foundation here in Uganda, and I didn't see that in other parts of the country. So I really asked for extension of services to the rural areas. And I've seen that currently happen in the country through the decentralization model. I think that Health Center 3, 4, they are all, giving out art, and, they're now embracing the YAPS model, which is giving peer support to young people and adolescents and young people. So my passion from day one has been, how can I use my story to actually help someone else? Because whenever I would go into gatherings, I would hear stories of other children facing stigma and discrimination right in their own families. Now, I used to think I've been stigmatized in school and then I'm crying around. Not until I met fellow, children who were being stigmatized in their own homes. So I actually found out that I was crying out of, I would say, kajanja in the local language. So I've always wanted to just share my story out and help that other young person in the community. At one point in 20-something, I've been always feeling, do I still need to share my story? I think everyone knows my story, everyone has heard about my story. But whenever I meet some other people that I talk to and I share my story, I feel like actually they've not heard about it, and it is encouraging. So I looked at different ways of sharing my story. That's how I came up with writing my first book called Beyond Your Status, Thriving in Life Despite of HIV. So I wrote that book, and it's also available on Amazon, and it's been mainly sold. It has had a very good market internationally. Many people from outside countries have bought the book, but then you find that actually people in the country have not bought the book. So I wanted other ways of actually disseminating the information, and that's how I came up with Series of Jojo. So Series of Jojo is sharing information through illustrations and animated videos. And so far I have 3 concepts up. I have a concept about EMTCT, that is elimination of mother-to-child transmission. I have a concept about adherence and viral load, and I have a concept about HIV cure. And I want to dwell more about HIV cure because this is information that is not within our reach. Someone tells about HIV and they will never talk about the cure. At our facilities, the healthy workers, the peers, everyone will sing about adherence. Everyone is going to sing about stigma. No one will ever talk about cure, yet people are yearning. They want to know, what's up with the cure? Is it going to come? There are so many myths and misconceptions about HIV cure, and we are not answering these questions. So that's how I came up with Series of Jojo to mainly target HIV cure information dissemination into illustrations and animations. But someone will not understand cure if they do not know adherence and viral load. Someone will not understand all that if they do not know that actually there is what we're calling EMTCT. So the series start from EMTCT, adherence and viral load, to HIV cure. I work with a team of other young people. We are from a psychosocial support group called Moji Young Generation Alive, and we are more than 305 members in that group. And we have a music and dance grammar team that does music to disseminate HIV information, create awareness, combat stigma in the community. We also do, during the school outreaches that we do, sometimes we go with our MDD group to perform, and through that we are sharing information about HIV. I wish every young person out there who is living with HIV knew that there is something being done around HIV cure. We are not going to take this medication until we die. We are only taking ARVs until the cure comes, and research is being done. Some people have been cured. We are just looking at ways on how to find a cure that will be scalable to everyone who is living with HIV currently.